Here to talk about it is Brian Kilmeade, Fox and Friends co-host, host of One Nation with Brian Kilmeade, and the Brian Kilmeade radio show, as well as What Made America Great on Fox Nation. I can't wait for the announcement, Brian Kilmeade, of your Fox Business show, and you'll have all platforms covered.
Yes, they do not want me on Fox Business. I get the top. Larry Kudlow is the only one who wants me just for a little while, and Varney lets me simulcast, and then they just ask me to leave.
The read-in to the Brian Kilmeade is longer than the read-in for the whole show. So, but welcome.
Let's see. But I appreciate being on.
Well, thanks for being here. So let's talk about Joe Biden. He comes out, he has COVID. I wonder, because Joe Biden is old. Joe Biden, a couple days ago, said he has cancer. He has comorbidities that would put him in a higher risk category. But the White House is saying, listen, we don't have much to fear here. Is this a sign that Democrats are buying into the idea that COVID is over? No more masks on kids in schools. Maybe the military COVID mandate is going to be lifted, and this is all behind us?
By their actions, absolutely. But I don't expect us to be shut down free in the fall. I don't think it's going to come from the administration. What I worry about, especially someone like you must be thinking about, and that's school shutdowns. I mean, we already see it in San Diego. Oh, there's been a surge during summer school. If you don't wear a mask, don't come. Excuse me, I don't want to wear a mask. Then drop out. Really? I'm almost done with the whole summer semester. You want me to drop out because there's a surge of cases that really are no danger to a teenager without comorbidities, without something foundationally wrong with them, with a option on a vaccine that doesn't really effective against this variant, as told by Anthony Fauci himself? The vaccine minimizes the symptoms. Okay, that's not how it was billed. The variants have spun out. We've come to our own conclusions, but we have to be able to move on. When the president comes on and takes the picture, shows the video, conducts his business, Sean, it's saying to the rest of the country, keep working. It's saying to the CEOs, when your people are home, if they got a 99 fever and they're isolated, let them zoom in, but work.
But to your point, we have kids who have very low risk of getting really sick from COVID. Older people do, and ones with comorbidities. And so here you have, again, Joe Biden, in essence, saying not much to see here. And if you say if this happens, that we are going to see greater impacts and lockdowns, shutdowns, masks, mandates on COVID as we come into the fall, it's not about COVID, Brian. It's about the election and trying to get electoral processes changed as we come into the November election.
And let me ask you, Sean, if you think this plays into it. The better the economy is, the better chance Democrats have of eliminating the damage. So it's when the doors are shut and people are talking candidly, they have to be saying, Mr. President, we can't shut down this country again, because not only is the frustration going to build, the anger going to grow, but our economy won't. I can't keep telling Price Waterhouse to send their people home. I can't keep telling the deli there's not going to have any more customers. I can't tell people to stay home and not ride the trains. Municipalities aren't going to get paid tax dollars, and the base will continue to drop. There's no winner there. Let the American people make their own decision. Don't you think that is the closed-door meeting? Practical reasons?
That's common sense, O'Brien, and I don't see this administration using any common sense. But what I found interesting, too, was that the White House is saying this is business as usual. So Joe Biden is out with COVID, and it's business as usual. That makes me think then when Joe Biden is present, it's business as usual, which means Joe Biden is checked out, whether he has COVID or not.
Well, I don't think.
You take my point?
I don't think they want you to take your point and play this out. But a couple of other things. Can you imagine if it was Trump deciding to go business as usual? Yeah. If Trump's press secretary said, don't worry about how the president got it? Can you imagine if he had said that when Anthony Fauci would have called a press conference? I know you've heard some things from the White House, but I'd just like to clarify with the facts. And that's when the CDC, that's when Anthony Fauci and company were fully in offense against the president's messaging. I haven't heard anything from anybody of worth in advisory capacity pushing back against the president or the press secretary.
No, not at all. I mean, the press is completely on board for this administration. But I wanted to play Karine Jean-Pierre, White House press secretary. She's talking about gas prices on Twitter yesterday. Is that Assad?
Yep.
Let's take a look.
So gas prices have been declining across the country. In the past more than 30 days, we have seen gas prices go down by more than 50 cents per gallon. This is so exciting, guys.
Brian, this is so exciting. Gas went from, $5 a gallon, horrible, down to $4.50, and they're celebrating that. And America is supposed to, be pop in Pop-Tarts?
A couple other things. If anyone ever goes to you, Sean, and they might, especially when you dress up like this and say, Sean, I have a little idea for a brief Twitter video or an Instagram message, and they have little people behind you playing the harp. Don't want it. And don't act fascinated that you're on with graphics. She was saying this is fascinating that she's on with a graph. That's called television. Number one, you don't need music with a press secretary on something as serious. I think we're up to 3. I really got to thank Vladimir Putin, because if it's Putin's price hike, is it also Putin's price reduction? So special thanks to Vladimir Putin, the brutal thug, who decided to drop gas and oil 50 cents over the last few weeks. Maybe if he's in a good mood, he'll continue to do that.
Well, it's a good point. So when prices go up, it's Putin's fault, but when they go down, it's Joe Biden's great work, right?
Not when you have me as a guest, Sean, when you fill in for Larry Kudlow. As far as I'm concerned, the buck stops with Vladimir Putin, because that's where he wanted to stop for the longest time. I can't unstop the buck because Putin has the prices go down. Well, that's not the way it works.
You speak truth to power, which is so great about you. But isn't it true that you look at the poll numbers? I mean, the Quinnipiac just came out with a new poll that shows that Joe Biden has an approval rating of 31%. He's 60% disapproval. The fact that they don't understand that it's painful for the American people to pay $4.50 a gallon. They celebrate that. That's one of the reasons why their poll numbers are so low.
Well, I would say this. Not only is your answer, well, we're taking all types of action. I'm really proud of the president for taking action. I'm going to add something else to that. Where was he 2 days ago? He decided to go to a defunct coal plant that was taken down and a town destroyed. He thought that was a great backdrop to talk about, I will soon use executive actions to pursue a green agenda that a 28-year-old bartender gave me 4 years ago. And I'm talking about AOC. And that's when she wants to pursue. It's not even in his best interest to pursue something like that and to be in your face on renewables at a time in which we are still 85% committed to fossil fuels is folly. What he did yesterday was worthy of a think tank, not the American economy.
But again, it goes to the point that he's out of touch. If you're going to come out to the American people and say, this is the #1 issue that we face, it's the weather, it's climate, global warming is the #1 issue. But most Americans sit at home and go, I can't afford to go to the grocery store. I can't buy meat. I can't put gas in my car. I'm afraid to walk down the street because of crime. And I look at the southern border and I go, I'm seeing hundreds of thousands of people streaming in. And you want me to believe it's the weather?
Okay, I have 2 things. What scares me is when I get up at 2:30 in the morning, and usually everyone's like my maid and my butler are laying my stuff out, and of course they're all making breakfast. I look at the television, and one of the things on is the ABC Nightly News. Their first story is 10 minutes long. It's on global warming. If you flip onto CNN, they're leading with global warming. And next thing you know, the president is giving a press conference about global warming. Is everybody getting some memo that you can't wire the press with your agenda and think we're going to be a healthy democracy? To me, I find that scary.
But you can't change the mindset of the American people who are actually feeling the pain. You can't get them to not believe their lying eyes, right? I mean, and it's real. But I want to pivot to you because I want to talk about crime right here in New York City. Gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin was attacked on stage by an armed man at a campaign event last night, who was then back on the streets. The attacker was back on the streets just hours later. Brian, you spoke with him. Take a listen.
I have a huge problem with New York's cashless bail law. We see these stories time and again. This attacker should not have been released instantly. And I could give multiple reasons for it. We have stories, by the way, in New York where people get released on cashless bail and go out and commit murder.
It's unbelievable. Brian, what do you make of this?
Well, number one, it just reminds me of You're Not Safe on Stage. I think of the comedians who were attacked 2 times over the last 3 months. And then this is a small get-together. If people don't know it, upstate New York is like Iowa, like where you're from, Wisconsin. Reminds you of the Midwest. It's not like New York City.
Good people.
Great people. Hard-working people. And it's totally different. By the way, it's very red. So he's trying to win people over in front of an AmVet. So he told me on radio, he said, I feel kind of relaxed. I'm in front of veterans. He's a veteran. And he says, I'm seeing this guy walk up to me. He looks clearly he's a veteran. Obviously, he's not well and he's drunk. And this thing that he's got in his hand, I've never seen it quite before. People have described it, and we have a shot of it, I think, is you put your hands through, you have 2 fingers through like it's a brass knuckle, but the tops are 2 knives. So if you put that into somebody and you pull down, you cut them open.
That's right.
So he has martial arts training, and he said right away, I didn't want to attack. I see him getting close to me, and he says, I put my hand over the top and took his wrist down. But if he didn't take his wrist down and let's say he said, calm down, pal, that thing goes right into your heart.
Yeah.
And who knows what he's capable of.
It's scary. I want to bring up one other point because I look at, there's violence on both sides of the aisle. There's conservative violence, liberal violence. It happens everywhere. But the difference, Brian, is the fact that I think Republicans call out all violence. I look at the attacks on Steve Scalise at the baseball field, Rand Paul in his backyard, but also leaving the White House after the GOP convention.
You got that video?
The threatened attack on Brett Kavanaugh. Even Joe Biden,
They stopped Brian Mast, too, remember?
Yeah, exactly. But even Sinema, who went into the bathroom and was followed in, Joe Biden's like, this is just politics. I think Democrats have to do a better job of calling out this violence, condemning it if they're going to get it to stop.
I would think you got to start doing it. And for Mark Kelly, I kind of think that he should have come out for Sinema. That's somebody,
absolutely.
Both Democrats, I'll add to that. And just do the right thing. You're a military guy, an astronaut. But we don't hear from him at all. I would say this. The violence getting scary. What about Kavanaugh's neighbors? That's also a story this week. Evidently, his neighbors are getting harassed. The women are being called Karens. They're being asked, how can you live next door to him? So as a Supreme Court justice, not only don't have prestige, now you feel isolated in your own neighborhood, and maybe some angst people might felt is now turned to unease and worry. It's a very concerning time. And I'll tell you right now, Lee Zeldin told us this morning that he is now surrounded by security. And ups the budget, ups the worry, ups the interest. And on a side note, for people just to know this, as blue as New York is, Lee Zeldin seems to have a legitimate shot of winning the governorship in New York. I know you know him, you serve with him.
100% he does. Again, unless there's a call out on the violence, you're going to see someone get hurt. Brian Kilmeade, thanks for joining me. You're one handsome man and that's a good looking tie.
Wow, and for you to say that to me says a lot.
Says a
lot. It came from the heart. It was on the prompter.
No, it wasn't on the prompter. That was from the heart, not on the prompter. All right. You can catch One Nation with Brian Kilmeade Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox News.